This is my uncle's Traxxas 110 Summit. It's a pretty nice machine, and every time I come to visit my uncle, which is only about 1 or 2 times a year, I do maintenance on it and I find problems on it and I replace those items. So recently one of the items I had to replace was the motor because the tab on the side had broken off, so the motor wouldn't even work because I couldn't attach this wire back to the motor and it just became useless. So I went on rc4wheeldrive.com and got this $15 or $16 motor, I believe, with a little bit of shipping. Came here in about half a week, and it was a direct drop-in replacement from the old motor to this. I only had to do a little bit of modification with the wires here, but after doing that little bit of work, I noticed a huge boost in performance with the Summit. So I'm going to be pretty much selling you this amazing motor and telling you why you should switch over. So taking a look at some of the basic specs between the two, this is a 775 series motor and this is a 700. Although if you were to take off this little sleeve on the outside, which I do not know what it is used for, if you were to take that off, they are pretty much the same diameter almost exactly. So the difference between 700 and 775 is pretty much nothing. I think they just did a little bit of a scam by adding this on, but that's just my opinion. On the outside, for these wires, I believe this is 14 gauge wire and this is 12 gauge wire. However, I do not see much of a difference between the two. They are still pretty much the same. However, the bullet connectors on the end are slightly different sizes, and that's part of the modification you're going to have to do when you are installing this. You can see the very slight difference in size there. Also, they are pretty much exactly the same length, which means they will, in theory, have the same amount of magnetism or magnetic strength anyway, and the shaft on the end is 5mm with the same kind of flattened end on the outside, so you can just do a direct drop in on your pinion from the old one to the new. As well as using this motor mount, it uses the same mounting points, same holes, same screws, which is very convenient. Now overall, I gotta say that this motor is a lot better for one very big factor. If you are a crawler out there, this is a 16-turn motor, which means it will produce less RPM per volt, which also creates more torque. This is a 10-turn, which will create higher RPMs and less torque, which means it'll also have a harder time turning the wheels and whatnot for just going at low speeds. So yeah, that's pretty much the main differences between the two. Now this factor varies from motor to motor. Different ones will draw more or less amps, which some call efficiency. So this motor, compared to the old one, is higher efficient. Now the way I can tell is when running this vehicle, even at low speed, when I'm hitting full throttle, it's drawing a lot of amps from the battery that go to the ESC, that go to the motor, and the motor is asking for those amps. Now normally, with the old one, if I'd be going at the high speeds, the lights would dim a lot and turn off. That's because the batteries would not have many less amps to give because the motor was taking up so much. With this new one, it didn't have any problems with dimming the lights at all, which is a very good sign, which I'm going to assume means that it's going to get higher efficiency. I like that. It will give you longer run times, which everybody likes. So right now I'm going to show you how to modify the bullet connectors on your ESC, which is right down here below. When you first try and plug this in, you're going to notice it'll slide in, but it won't actually grip. And over here I have a different connector, which I've modified, and it'll actually push together and it won't come undone. So, all you need to do is, for one end of this, you're going to peel back this little plastic coating, or insulator, and then you can see right here, that's the part that actually grips onto the bullet connector on the motor. So all you need to do is grab some pliers and just push these ends together just a little bit more. You can actually seal that crack. That's what actually worked for me for the right size. Then after that, You'll see if I peel back this is one I modified. See, those ends will be nice and close together, and it makes that diameter just a little bit smaller. That way you can fit it together. Alright, so that's the end of this video. Hope it helped. I will leave a link down below where you can buy this motor for yourself. I highly recommend it. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and leave a like if this helped you at all.